Hey guys, Slime from jeepextreme@gmail.com. Hey, today I'm here replacing the rear main seal on the Jeep Cherokee. It's not a big deal, but what you're gonna have is 7/16 for the most of it. And let me show you what's going on. Take off the oil pan, and for some stupid reason, like everything else, everything's a different size. Most of it's 7/16, but there is some, however, that I think are straight up a half. We'll see. I think they are, from what I can tell. And then you've got these plastic pieces. These pieces, they might be rusted. You'll have to take them loose and everything else. Drop this oil pan out. When I drop this out, I'm going to repaint this oil pan, clean it all up really good, check it. Check the screen on my oil pump, replace my oil pump, replace the rear main, replace the oil pump, which my advice is to get online. You can get one for half price than you can around any of these local stores. And it even has a better warranty. It's like 5 years for a lot of them. I'm going with the standard flow oil pump. I'm not going with the high flow. You got to bing out your pan to put a high flow in, and there's really no need in it. Which I got the one piece seal off eBay for like 15 bucks shipped. Save like another. Alright guys, 20 bucks. I took the flex plate off, which is 18 millimeter on each side, and then it's a 1/2 inch on the others on the flex plate. And you're gonna have, you know, obviously either 2/18s, or you can, if you're good and strong, you can take it and hold it with a pair of channel locks and just take those two loose. These two up in here on the back side, those are actually 1/2 inch. Welcome to the Jeep, working in grease. Anyhow, mine's extremely dirty because this has been a long time leak. So I'm basically cleaning out around the bolt so I can access it. I got one of them off. Now I gotta get the other one off. You know, just disconnect your lines, your transmission lines, coolant lines there for go to your cooler and everything. And then we'll drop this down. Once we drop this down, we'll see what kind of we got going on here. I have a lift on this Jeep, so therefore it's gonna be easier for me to drop this oil pan. If you do not have a lift on your Jeep, you may want to jack the sucker up. You know, from the frame, or put it on, you know, something where you can access it easier to get, because you've got little room between here, because your oil pump, the pickup line for it sits down inside the oil pan, so you got to kind of work yourself around that. What you'll do is you'll slide it from the front to the back to get it out. Alright, so if you got a low vehicle, put a jack under the front bumper, board or something, and jack up the suspension so you can kind of get access to the oil pan. Maybe you can get it pulled out. It makes it easier. So that's what I did. So take the starter off, and then you can wiggle the oil pan, slide it from the front to the back, and get it out. And you can see I got a mess. I'll have to take the cradle off the bottom of the engine there, and you know, right there's your oil pump. I'll be replacing that, the pickup line right there, off of it, and I'll be reusing that. Those rear bolts back there, they may seem impossible to get. They are actually 1/2 inch. If they seem impossible to get, you need to clean the crap from them. The dirt on the back side of those rear bolts going by the rear main there on the oil pan itself. They are actually, they get dirt and stuff on them, and that rubber seal that goes around the oil pan, that holds the oil pan up, it actually will squish in enough so you can get that 1/2 inch socket in there. Seems impossible, but it's easy. It's not that bad. You just got to put a little muscle into it and you'll get them out. This video where I put a new seal kit in there because it was missing an O-ring, which was lovely. Working on her. Guys, I took the oil pump off. look up there, the cradle's still on it. Oil pump's off. Starter's just sitting over here. Watch, make sure it doesn't, you unplug your battery first. Took the seal off, and basically I have to wait for the pump now, so I'll be back in a couple days. I'm gonna put my oil pan back on. I did take the pump bolts out. There are 2 bolts in there, 13mm. So for the oil pump, silver and red for the bottom, and black, obviously. Also, stay tuned because I'm going to be putting on a critical path long arm 3-link setup on this. I'm actually going to take these bars off, put them on my Comanche because my lower LCAs are shot, and those will be good replacements. So I think they're the same. They may be a little longer, but we'll see. I'm going to see if I can use them. But I'm going to do the long arm on it and get rid of this crap, and I'm getting the cross member that goes up to the back, the removable center section. I've done my research. Some people say that Clayton, that looks like a good setup and all, but it is pricey. As far as the floorboards, armor, bumpers, skids, I'm going to do eventually do the frame rails, beef them up and all that crap, so I just don't have time. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys go ahead and tap that out. The pickup line is part of on the bolt, and you just gotta basically right there, and I just basically took a hammer and tapped on the edge of that right there and just beat it off as I held this straight, and just sometimes they're stuck on there pretty good when they've been on there for 20 years. So anyway, hey guys, I'm back. Another day, another time. This right here is a new oil pump finally in. Now, here's the trade-off. I don't know if there's any difference between AutoZone or Riley's oil pumps, but this one is rated 5-year warranty. They press these on the pickup tube. They press it on the pump. You can tell because there's a round flange on there, and they press it in. It's a total bitch to get that thing in there. So what I did is I just sanded it a little bit with some terry cloth around the edge of it, and put some grease, a little grease on it, and just worked it and worked it and worked it, and finally got it in there. So you want it to be as tight as possible because you don't want it to just, you know, flow out of there, but it's on there good. So you can see just like that. So that's on there. Girdle underneath here. Yeah, 14. Okay, so 14mm to remove the girdle. Like I said, when you remove the oil pump, you just got two screws or bolts right here. Not very big. You can actually see the shaft of the distributor coming down through, but they hit the oil pump right there. So we'll remove this girdle, and we'll remove the back cap and start this rear main. After we get that done, before you reassemble all this, you'll want to go through and clean all your edges around this before you put this oil pan gasket back on and get it all put back together. Alright guys, I just got through taking the seal out of the rear main. Basically, it's got a wire that runs through them, and the lip side goes onto the inside of the bearing side, which cap only goes on one way, but the lip of the seal, you got a solid side on that, and you got a lip. The lip goes on the inside. Also, put a little RTV around the edge of the seal, and then slip the seal in there. a small amount, high temp RTV, and then slip it in there. And my bearing looks pretty good. Bearings look good, so that's good. I do have a lip around the crank a little bit from the seal edge, but that's going to be expected. Now I'm going to tap out the top seal, which is probably the biggest pain in the butt. Use like a small punch. Be super careful because you're right there at the crank. You don't want to hit the crank. You want to be gentle with it, but a hammer or a small punch, hit the wire part and just tap her out. Once you get her started, you should be able to pull on the other side. If you have somebody that can turn the crank for you, it'll turn it right out of there. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody that can turn the crank. If I have to get somebody to turn the crank. Alright guys, I went ahead and got the seal in, got the old seal out. Take a punch, like I said, punch that out. It's gonna try to get a punch. I mean, a small punch or a ground down screwdriver that isn't super sharp, but has a good point, and just work at it, punch it, maybe rotate from side to side, and then punch it in. It will loosen up and it will come out of there. Then I took my needle nose and I grab it, and then I just pulled it around the side and slid it off. When you're putting your cap back on, make sure you put your cap on flush. Kind of push it up and then put your nuts on, almost tight, and then just kind of tap your cap up, then put your nuts, tighten your nuts up some more, and just make sure that it's straight, nice and straight and flush, not in a bind. Also, I put some RTV on the edges up here, on this bottom cap before I stuck her on. As I'd put it inside the ridge where the seal goes, so it's nice and sealed. I did stick some RTV up at the top too, on the top seal, and before I slid it around, and I also oiled the crap out of it. Whether or not it'll do much for it, I don't know, but I was trying to get it to slide in there fairly easy without being in a bind, and it went in pretty good. So next, you got to torque these down to 80 foot-pounds. I'm going to go ahead, torque it to 40, torque it to 70, torque it to 80, and just kind of rotate off. So that's where we're at. Next, we'll be putting the girdle back on that I took off. I'm not sure the torque specs on those yet, but I'll let you know when I get to it. So, alright guys, got the new oil pump on, new gasket, obviously, new oil pump. Pump bolts, the long one is 17, the short one is 10. And the cap girdle they are at 35 foot-pounds. So all them, I kind of just zigzag going through and tighten them all up slowly but surely at 35 foot-pounds. And so we got that done. We got the rear main done. Next is to clean off the bottom of this seal, or where it mates there for the seal, and put the oil pan back on this baby.